Hey guys, Blue Kool-Aid here. Want to give you an update on what's going on. Got a couple other things to talk about. Seeds data did update just like an hour or two ago, and it looks like they put a lot of that data there for us to look at. I'll give you guys a quick glance at it, but I haven't had time to actually dig into it and check out all the new data that it dumped in there. But it did look like they dumped it for every day. Now, like I said, I haven't had a chance to look at it. Are we going to see something in there? I do know that we did see the CME. It did show the CME that's coming right at us right now. But there's some other stuff to talk about here too. So I'm just going to dig into it. As you can see, we are still having this geomagnetic storm because of the coronal holes. Okay. I can tell you right now that that is not going to stop. And I'm going to show you some things, take you over to SDO and let you guys see some coronal holes in motion, and you're going to see how they just keep opening up and opening up and opening them up as it becomes, right, just it seems as though one closes as it's exiting Earth facing. It seems like they're opening up on the other side as it's becoming Earth facing. So I don't think this activity is going to slow down much. And, we might have some lull periods, like I said, but I don't think they're going to be long lasting. So anyway, as you can see here, guys, that's at 665. That's the solar wind. It's flowing at 665. And I have to say thanks to the sub for giving me a suggestion to use that word. Because I don't like using the word blow when we're talking about these winds. Because it's not like typical wind you would experience here on the surface of the Earth. We're talking about charged ions moving, or charged particles moving. So we're not really talking about an actual blowing of wind, what most people would consider wind. But yeah, anyway, G1. Okay, now you guys got to keep in mind that we're talking about, when they show you that one, that's the 24-hour observed maximums. So in the past 24 hours from the time I'm doing this video, the maximum it got up to was a G1. Right now, it's not in storm level. So what does that mean? What that means is it just dropped one number out of storm level. Okay, so it got up to a G2 yesterday, which I think is just a bit higher than what they were trying to say we were going to get to, which is okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. It was a little stronger than what they thought. But it did drop back down a little bit, like I said it was going to, and then like I said, I didn't think it was going to, go away, and it didn't. It stayed pretty much right there, hopped back up into storm level, went back down into what they would consider very active level. In other words, one number underneath storm. Now, why is that significant? Well, the reason why is because when we keep getting bombarded with this, that stuff just keeps building and building and building. So it doesn't take much to push it up into storm level again. And what's got me a little bit, I don't want to say on edge or concerned, because I'm really, because I don't think anything big's going to happen. I do think that our earthquake situation could definitely get worse when the CME gets here. Okay? So that's just going to add some more stuff to it. And with us already at a heightened level geomagnetically, this CME could really give some issues. And that's what I'm trying to say. And it may not. We don't know until it gets here. But I can tell you that it's coming directly at us. We're going to take it right on the chin. And, and again, we've said that before, coming right at us, and it hits us, but it doesn't do much. And then other times we'll say that it's going to hit us, and we don't think it's going to do much, and then it like completely blasts us. So but this time is a little bit different because we are already getting a geomagnetic storm. So you throw a CME in the midst of that, that's just a recipe to get more activity, I would think. So anyway, we're going down here and check out the ACE data. And again, guys, this one here, you got, like I said yesterday, you always got to look at the range. So, and yeah, it's still showing up to 700. It looks like it might be breaching that every once in a while. Definitely at the top end. And that's the velocity of the solar wind. Okay. The orange is the density. And again, as you can, and this is showing it perfectly, the solar wind speed's going up, and when it does, the density drops out. Okay, it happens like that all the time. And I've said this multiple times too. If they both do one of these, that's when we got to pay attention really, really close, because then that's, we're just going to get hit harder. So, the phi angle here is definitely jumping around some. And here's the I don't show you guys this one or talk about it a whole lot. The green line, it's the temperatures, the thermal thing here. Okay, you guys can check that out. Typically, like I said, when all this stuff is hitting us, obviously it's going to create more energy. Thus, the temperature is going to come up with it. So, but here's the enlil. All right. Yeah. So I mean, it's nothing that we haven't been talking about. And again, this graph here is actually showing this beautifully again. You can see how the density starts to come down and then spikes up. Well, what's the velocity do? Well, it goes up and then spikes down. Okay, look at that. It's almost like a perfect mirror. Now, yeah. So I mean, and that's really what it's supposed to do. So it looks like it's doing what it should, is what I'm saying. But that doesn't mean it's not going to give us issues, because sometimes when it does what it should, it's still hitting us real hard. So we'll go down here and check out the aurora real quick. Hope you guys like this one. I think this one's pretty cool. And again, it's showing auroras, because this isn't going to slow down. I mean, it might slow down a little bit, but it's not. It's going to be long duration, is what I'm saying. And this one here shows it perfectly, because it's staying green. Okay, and then the reds peek in right there. You can see that. So that's the aurora. That's northern lights, guys. And that's a direct relation to this geomagnetic storm. That's what causes these things. So, and again, it's just another graph showing the same thing about the geomagnetic storms, just in different colors. Just a second here. Okay, guys, this is the SDO, and what I've done is I've keyed this in for about, I think it's 3 to 4 days time lapse. And why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to see how the coronal holes actually grow and shrink. Okay, now we've talked about the parallax effect here. Okay, what that is basically, as these things fall off to the side because of our vision, things might look a little askew when we're talking about the size of them. In other words, on the edges, as it rolls around the edges, either coming in from this side or going out that side, things may appear to be a little bit smaller than what they actually are. Okay, but there's not a whole lot of parallax effect going on here, because some of the stuff I'm going to show you actually starts right there. Okay, so the parallax effect definitely is here, because it's always there, but it's not real prominent in what I'm getting ready to show you. So I just wanted to clarify that, because it's a valid point. The parallax thing is very real. It's excuse me. Man, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, it's an effect that it's kind of it fools our eyes, basically. It's a geometric effect that happens. I mean, it's a, yeah. I guess I should quit stuttering and keep going, huh? But anyway, again, keep in mind, here's the equator of the Earth, right? Or the sun. Now remember that the Earth sets just to the south of the equator of the sun. All right, so when things rotate through, and I'm going to leave that there for a second, because watch this hole rotate right in. It's just a small one, okay? See that? But that will give us solar wind, okay? Now, the next thing I want you guys to pay attention to is this one here is the one that's giving us the storm right now. And it's rotating off. You can see it rotating off, okay? See how it's changing shape and size? But while this one is doing that, a lot of people take their eye off of this. What's going on down here? Okay, that's getting bigger. And where are we at? right here. Okay. So what I'm saying is that we've been talking about why these things seem to grow or get more active when they become Earth facing. There's a whole conversation around that, but it is very real. You can see it right here. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can get a better look at this hole. Now this hole here, it could get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, a whole lot of little holes will compute to one big one. Okay, but the thing that we might see would be spikes instead of a continuous stream of solar wind. Okay, if we have little ones, like say we had them here and here, well, let's just do it this way. Here's the Earth, and if we had little ones like doing this, right? This is crude drawing, I get it. So wherever the holes aren't, we would have a quiet time. But wherever the holes do hit us, it would be active. Okay? So if you look at that, and then you do this, you put one big hole, then you got that whole stream to go through that never slows down. That's the difference between little holes and big holes as far as how the solar wind would affect us. But they do compute too. The smaller ones would definitely give us problems if they're back to back to back to back. So what I'm saying is this one here, you can see it growing on the south end. You know, it's just not going to slow down. That is my point, guys. This is going to keep going. And again, we might get a day. We might even get 2 days with kind of a lull period. But the solar wind's going to pick right back up. Not to mention the CME that blew off is going to be here probably within the next day or two. Okay? Or might even... My guess is, well, when did it blow off? On the 24th or the 25th? I have to go back and look. I think it was late in the day on the 24th or so. I'll go back and look. But basically probably 3 days. That's a good average for a CME to get here. Sometimes it's longer. Obviously, they move faster or slower depending on what happens. But if that's going to happen at the same time or right after we're getting the geomagnetic storm, it will definitely cause us a little bit more issues. And something else before I take you guys away from the screen, watch this. On the left side, see that big active area? So you get real bright. It got real bright right in here, and it caught my eye. So I went over and looked at it on stereo A, and I'm not going to take you guys to that right now because it's really not that big of a deal right now. But I do believe that may end up turning into a sunspot, and at the very least, it's a very active area of the sun. But it's on the side. It's on the side that's not Earth facing right now. Stereo A is over here, and it's looking this way. So stereo A is getting a good view of it right now. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys that, you know, and just to give you a little bit of vocabulary, basically a very active area of the sun, which could are called basically coronal prominences. And sometimes they look and they deceive people a little bit. They confuse people, I should say, into thinking that it's a big, big deal. We do get energy from those, but you know, it looks more impressive sometimes than what they actually really are to the effects that they give us. It's not a CME. It's not a flare. They do flare, okay, and they do have CMEs around coronal prominences, but essentially it's just a very active area on the sun. Okay, a group of them. Usually a coronal prominence is like a group of sunspots. So, and I've talked about that vocabulary before. But yeah, there's those coronal holes. All right, guys, this is the seeds. This is where we typically we catch a lot of our object here on this tool, on the one on the left. And I've talked about that a lot and why we do catch it there. And basically, it's because of the contrast of black to white right there that lets us see it better. At least our eyes can see it better. And it's not as pixelated as stereo A's captures are, like Core 2 over on stereo A. So we do see it a little bit more clear on this one. And this tool here is designed to see CMEs. Okay, but this tool is not going to see this CME because it is behind the occulter. Okay, to those of you guys that don't know what that is, if you guys are new here, this black circle right here is an occulter. That is not the surface of the sun. It is there to block out the main light so it can even get a capture at all. If that was not there, the tool itself would get inundated with light and would not be able to give us any imaging. It would just be flooded with light. Okay, so that's why that's there. The surface of the sun, if you look over here on the right, is where this white circle is. See, even the red filtered one has an occulter. It's just not black. Okay, so that's why that's there. And this is a perfect example to show you directional and all those kinds of things also, and what this occulter actually does block, because you're not going to see much of a CME here because most of it is behind the occulter. Okay, so whenever we get a CME and we look at it on this tool, and if we don't see much, what you're going to see it down here. Okay, and sometimes you'll see it up here or kind of off to the side like that a little bit. But the majority of the big flash that we typically see, like on this side when they have them over there or over here, you're not going to see that because this black occulter is blocking it. So when we do see that, we do know that that's pretty much coming right at us. Okay, because this is the view basically from Earth. This is on SDO, which sits right out in front of the Earth. Okay, but it stays in the same spot, geosynchronous orbit. Okay, it's always looking at the sun. So what I'm saying is that sometimes CMEs can even be missed if this is the only tool that you use, which is why we use multiple ones. Okay, so believe it or not, like I said, guys, I seen this on stereo A, which is the side view from over here looking that way, because it was blowing out this way, right? So stereo A, it would look like it does over here. Can you guys understand that? Okay, so I'm going to play this and just watch it. Oops, in reverse. Sorry. Let's reverse it. Okay, and you're going to notice on the right hand side too that the sun had an ejection there too. Okay, and you can see that very clear up here. See that? Look at all the energy going out. That's crazy. Well, it's not like huge crazy, but for it to have a CME over here and then doing it over there at the same time. You guys see what looked like rippled waves coming out the bottom? Watch. See it? That's the CME, guys. Okay? So you're looking at it and you're thinking it's not impressive. Well, the impressive part about it is behind the occulter. Okay? So if you guys are getting into looking at these tools and stuff, please keep that in mind when you do so you don't get confused. And if we go look at stereo A, which we're going to here in a second, I'll show you what it looks like on stereo A. I showed it to you yesterday, but let's just back out of that and I'll take you over there right now. It's right here, so we can look at, well, wrong day. Let's yep, it did too. I knew that was going to do that. I was getting ready to say that. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, well, Earth is over here. Okay, so when we have a CME blow off our direction, almost every time a smaller one will blow 180 degrees right off the backside. So wherever there's a CME on the sun, you can probably pretty much draw a straight line right through it, and you're going to have a smaller one firing off the other side. Now, I think it has something to do with the exhausting all that energy and all that. I'm not sure exactly when it comes to that, so I really don't want to speak to that. All I know is the observation I'm making. It does blow when we do get a CME this way. You'll get one 180 degrees back behind it, but typically it's not as big. Okay, and this right here kind of confirms it. See, I'm gonna push start, and you'll see what I mean. Oh shoot, it's doing that stupid crap. Sometimes this thing right here, it'll stall, so you got to like go to the previous day and then go back into it. There's the CME that we had that come right at us. I wanted to show you guys that anyway. So, but as you can see, even here, you can see it starting to do something back here. So if we look over here, you know, let's just go next. Okay, yep. back it up. Okay, that was the last capture of that day. Now notice, I talked about this yesterday. Look at the timestamp. We're missing 10 hours. Okay, remember that, because over there on seeds, when I showed you that CME, it was missing 10 hours there too. Right when the CME happened, and not on seeds, but over Lasco C2, the one I just showed you. So we're going to go to the next day, because you're going to see a CME come off the backside too. See it? See that? Let's see how much data this stupid thing's missing. Yeah, it's jumping around too. So, I mean, it's, yeah, constantly missing data now. But you can see how it did blow off the backside there a little bit. So, and again, you know, we'll look at it over here. You see it get a little bit brighter. So, yeah, it did. But I just think that's interesting when it does stuff like that, because it's an observation that I made and I didn't know why it was. I'm sure somebody else has made that same observation, but, you know, I don't know why exactly it does that. But yeah, so here's that CME again. And if you look down here, watch. It doesn't start until 10. Boom, see? We missed the first 10 hours of that day, right when that CME was happening. So when that CME was happening right at the beginning, we don't get to see that data. Once again. Okay? We've talked about this, guys. When these CMEs happen, that's when it lights our object up. And that's exactly why they do this, I think. I really, truly think that. I mean, it happens too often. It's not a coincidence. It's just not. And you can't blame it on the light of the tool not being able to see it, because the occulter's in front of this one, guys. The occulter's there to prevent that from happening. So it's not like it got flooded with light and couldn't make a capture, because it did not happen here. The occulter's there. So that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah. Okay, guys, as you guys are watching this run through, I'll just let you guys watch that as we're running through this real quick. But I did want to talk about something else. They're shutting down power in California again. Most of us know this, but I did want to touch on it, because they're talking about it's going to be record-breaking, controlled, on purpose, shut off of power. Okay, this never happened to this scale before. So, you know, there's tons of articles out there, tons of agencies, tons of news, alternative news, mainstream news, what have you, are talking about this. Okay, it's being, you know, obviously people are reporting on it because it's a big deal. You know, when we talk about this, why are CMEs such a big deal to us, or solar flares? Because they can kill our power. A massive flare will kill the global electrical grid. Okay. So, yeah, hold on just one second. And this is that grid, guys. Okay. This is what this is showing you. It's showing you how basically solar weather is affecting our grid. Now, it doesn't mean that anything bad's happening right now, because it's not, as far as geomagnetically affecting our electrical grid. Okay. So you can see the colors, right? And again, this is a newer tool, so a lot of us aren't used to this thing yet to know what's out of the ordinary. Okay. But we can tell that when something's low or high or in the middle, but we can't tell you what the effect is that we're having based on those colors. So yeah, I mean, look at that. Okay. And again, you know, this is something that, you know, California's getting shut off on purpose because of the wildfires. And that's what they're saying. They've shown a bunch of different wildfires. Now, is there a backwards agenda here? Probably. You know, I really man, it's hard to think that they would shut all that off. Man, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with all this. I think it's a little bit of both. I do think that there's wildfires because they're there. Now, how did those wildfires start? That's the biggest question. Okay. And if they shut these down, is it going to prevent other ones? If it's going to prevent wildfires, I would almost totally support this, okay? But I can't say that it's going to, or that it's not going to, or this is a big issue, or whatever. I don't know. I don't have that knowledge, okay? So I don't really have an opinion on that. But I can just tell you that geomagnetically right now, that this is what how it's affecting our grid. You know, and again, none of us are probably even seeing a whole lot of effects. So, and I do want to touch on this again real quick too while I got you here. That is the Appalachian Mountain Chain. This is the Rocky Mountain Chain. And that's why you see that similar image popping up every time right there. Okay? That's why we're seeing that anomaly. Just want to point that out. So if you guys see that on your own, that's what that is. I am going to do a video on cosmic rays. Okay, guys? I've been doing a lot of research on that because I know that it's dangerous, very dangerous. And I keep telling you guys, hey, they're telling the special people that do frequent flying to really, you know, limit their hours. You know, prenatal patients like pregnant women and stuff. The pilots, the stewardess, people that fly all the time. You know, if you're flying up in the higher latitudes, that means you're flying up closer to the North Pole other than the equator. That stuff gets through more up there, okay? Just letting you know, that's what happens, and that's why they issue those warnings. But I want to go a little bit more in depth and explain to you, you know, what happens when these cosmic rays come into our atmosphere and how they split. They turn into a couple different things, and one of the things is a muon, okay? So we're going to talk about those words. I'm not going to go into it right now, but I'm going to explain to you guys one of the biggest risks with cosmic rays. So anyway, that's coming probably in the next week or so. I just want to give you guys a little update on that. But God bless. Oh yeah, earthquakes, guys. Sorry, I know I got to say it. We're now 105 days overdue for an earthquake. I'm probably going to put a timer or a thing up here in the corner of my video until we get one. All right, it's a 7.0 or plus earthquake. We are now 105 days without one. We're supposed to get them every 20 days. So, and that stat alone, we're not even talking about any of this geomagnetic stuff. That stat alone should make people wake up. So, anyway, guys, God bless. Sorry for the length of this video. Yeshua saves, and there is a model update. You can drink this Kool-Aid.
me so bad to you. One thing I said that I would never do. A look from you and I would fall from grace. And that would